Welcome to the Edenex FinMS system. If your company is engaged in currency exchange, then this product is for you. If you are familiar with the problems of non-transparent profitability of exchange points and unaccounted cash flow, outdated reports from employees, transaction history recorded on a piece of paper, and inconsistent Excel pivot tables, then this product is your best solution. If you're a business owner, the following options in the FinMS system is available for you. Flexible company analytics, replenishment amount, withdrawal amount, profit, and account balances. Generate any snapshot based on key company parameters using filters. At your disposal, you have settings by time period, exchange points, accounts, transaction types, corporate expense categories, clients, and individual employees. Account balance monitoring. Account information is updated with every transaction. For convenience, group accounts by currency, by type of cash non-cash account, by exchange points, entire group or individual. The system will notify you if the balance on any of the accounts exceeds or falls below the optimal range. Daily reports. On a daily basis, you will receive a detailed report on cash flow for each of your exchange points, employee efficiency, financial flow volumes, account balances, and currency balances. You will only have to choose a convenient time to receive the report. If you manage an exchange point, the following options in the FinMS system is available for you. Up-to-date currency exchange rates database. Upon conducting a transaction, the system will provide the current currency exchange rate. You can also configure the rates recommended for use by your employees. Employee debt management. Monitor the use of personal funds and accounts of your employees in transactions. Set conditions for the funds reimbursements between an employee and the company. Transparency of transactions. The calculator allows you to create a chain of conversions with any number of currencies and participants. It is enough to specify the volume of one currency. The system will calculate the remaining values, including the expected profit from the transaction, and save its history. Now about trust. We take your information and financial security seriously, which is why the Edenex system fully complies with the latest and most reliable security standards in the industry. End-to-end encryption protects your data from unauthorized access. Multi-factor authentication ensures that only you can access your account. The system undergoes regular security audits to identify and address potential vulnerabilities. Our dedicated team monitors any unusual activities around the clock and responds promptly to potential threats. We comply with financial regulations worldwide, ensuring that our platform meets the requirements of various regions. Continuous improvements are outpacing emerging security issues, taking into account the latest advancements in cybersecurity. To start working with the FinMS platform, you must complete the registration procedure. Account creation requires confirmation via the email address specified during registration. To do this, follow the link from the email received from the Edenex system. After confirming the account, we proceed to create a company. To do this, you need to fill in required fields about the company and its first administrator. Pay attention to the selection of the company's base currency. Reports on your company's activities will be generated in this currency. The base currency of the company can be changed at any stage of the company's operation. You will be the first administrator of the new company. In addition to the name, specify your nickname, which will be displayed in the system for your employees. Line staff cannot see the names and phone numbers of administrators. However, you must specify the phone number so that your managers and technical support can contact you promptly. The additional information field is optional. Here, you can specify additional communication channels with you, hours of receiving requests, a list of credentials, or other useful information. After filling out the form, click Next. Congratulations! The company has been successfully created. Now you can start creating exchange points, accounts, and employees. Let's go through the account creation procedure. As an example, Consider the safe of the central office in Abu Dhabi. Pay attention to the account type field. Thanks to it, you will be able to create differentiated reports on balances, for example, only cash balances or only bank account balances. When starting work in the system, it is necessary to specify the current balance for all new accounts, so that when recording transactions, the calculation of changes in balances reflects the actual account balances. If you want to receive notifications and prompts when the account balance has become unsatisfactory, for example, an excess of unstable currency has accumulated, or conversely, there is not enough currency for operational transactions, fill in the account balance range fields. These fields are optional. In addition, the system allows you to withdraw the account balance into the negative, and this does not block transactions. The first account has been successfully created. Do not forget to set up all accounts, cash registers, wallets, cards, and safes in the system that employees of your exchange points work with during transactions. Let's start creating an exchange point. The address field is optional, because a distributed office can also act as an exchange point. Pay attention to the selection of the base currency of the exchange point. Reports on the activities of this point will be generated in this currency, and aggregate data for its employees will be displayed. As a rule, this is the base currency of the region. The time zone and time of daily report saving determine the end of the work shift of the exchange point. That is the moment when a daily work report of the point will be generated for the administrator. Click Create to confirm the creation of the exchange point. Please note, after creating the first exchange point, a reminder will appear in the header of the website that you are working on behalf of the point you created. Since the administrator has access to the work and data of all exchange points, you will be attached to all created points automatically. After creating the following points, you will be able to choose on behalf of which of them you will perform operations. To start the operation of the exchange point, you need to link accounts to it. A link between the account and the exchange point determines which of the company's accounts employees of the selected exchange point are authorized to conduct transactions. You cannot start the operation of the point without linked accounts. Please note that several exchange points can have both individual accounts and access to joint accounts. After linking the accounts, you can change the exchange point status to working. If it is necessary to suspend the operation of the exchange point for conducting transactions, you can change its status to temporarily not working. Let's create an invitation to the system for one of the employees. The invitation form is available on the Employees List page. Please note that the company already has one employee, that's you. The data form of the invited employee is similar to the one that you already filled out about yourself when registering the company. There are 3 roles to choose from. Administrator is the person who fully manages the exchange points, employees, and operations. He has full access to all information about the company. Manager manages employees, transactions, and account accesses at the level of a single exchange point. At the same time, an employee may be invited to work in several points, which is typical for regional managers. A cashier or courier is a line employee who handles transactions. After filling in the employee's data, click Next. Select the exchange point to which the employee will be attached. When you select an exchange point, the list of accounts of the exchange point becomes available to you. Specify which of them the invited employee will have the right to conduct transactions. Next, we confirm the choice we have made and move on. At the last step, you can add an additional exchange point to the employee or return to editing the list of available accounts of previously specified points. After confirming the creation of the invitation, you can copy the official invitation text entirely or just a direct link to create an employee account and send it to your employee in any convenient communication channel. Let's register on behalf of the invited employee. Click on the link received in the invitation. We get to a similar registration form, which was filled out by the administrator. Please note that the invited employee must register at the email address specified in the invitation. Account creation requires confirmation via the email address specified during registration. To do this, follow the link from the email received from the Edenex system. After confirming the account of the invited employee, in the upper panel will be displayed the point to which he is attached, his position and nickname specified by the administrator in the invitation. The accounts list page displays only those accounts to which the invited employee has been allowed access by the administrator. On the Exchange Points page, the employee can access only those to which he was attached. The administrator can change the list of exchange points and account accesses at any time for any employee, or completely block the employee's access to the account. Now let's conduct an exchange with the client. Please note that the operation will be performed on behalf of the exchange point that is currently selected in the upper panel of the page. The first block of operation data is information about the client. You can specify the details of a new client or select it from the list if you have previously worked with this client. In the fields how funds were received and how currency was transferred, you can specify both the details of the accounts from which funds were withdrawn and deposited, and an arbitrary comment, for example that the funds were received in cash. None of the fields in the data of the new client is mandatory, because the client may wish to leave only contacts or only the name, or remain completely anonymous. Let's start creating a chain of conversions. For example, let's consider the exchange of cash yuan for dirhams, with intermediate conversion via USDT. You can put any number of currencies in the chain and add them in any convenient order. When selecting currencies, the current exchange rate is set automatically. Specify the amount of funds received from the client. At the same time, the system automatically calculates the volume of other currencies based on the amount of funds of the first specified currency and the exchange rates. You can adjust the suggested rates as well as specify the commission charged by your company for conducting the transaction, in one currency or another or as a percentage. The exchange of yuan for USDT was carried out for us by our partners, almost at cost. Please note that after adjusting the exchange rates, the system recalculated the volume of currencies again. Now let's adjust the figures obtained during the auto-calculation. The line of each conversion is expanded. Forms are available inside for entering specific information on specific withdrawals and deposits within the operation. First, funds were received from the client immediately to the account of our partners. We will indicate this so that the client's funds are not lost. Second, the withdrawal of yuan for conversion to USDT occurred on the partner's side, so this cash flow can be excluded from our operation. Third, the receipt of USDT as a result of conversion occurred on the partner's side, so this CF can be excluded from the operation. Fourth, the withdrawal of USDT for conversion to dirham occurred on the partner's side, so this CF can be excluded from the operation. Fifth, the receipt of dirham as a result of conversion is carried out to our accounts for subsequent transfer to the client. Our partners transferred us a smaller amount than the calculator calculated. We will indicate the actual amount of the transfer, 7,395 dirhams. Let's choose the account where the funds were received from the partners. Please note that the internal and external costs, the ratio of the extreme currencies in the chain, are calculated automatically. In order to profit, the external cost for the customer must be adjusted. Indicate the exchange rate with the client. 1 dirham equal 1.96 yuan. The amount of currency automatically calculated from the external cost for transfer to the client may also require adjustments. Indicate the amount of currency agreed with the client, 7,320 dirhams. Let's select the account from which the funds will be deposited for issuance to the client. Obviously, the main parameter of the transaction is its profit. Please note that the values of the estimated profit are displayed at the bottom of the page. Profit based on calculations made by the calculator, profit based on the adjustments you have made at the level of specific withdrawals and deposits to the company's accounts. If the expected profit is unsatisfactory, that is less or equal 0, the system will highlight it in red. You can change the values of the rates, fees and costs to achieve the desired profit. Now let's confirm the saving of the operation under the specified conditions. The system redirects us to the created exchange page. All the details of the operation are displayed here, including a list of withdrawals and deposits for specific accounts. Information about the condition of each conversion can be obtained in the Conversion tab. Now about closing the operation. It is important to note that the operation can only be closed if it is closed confirmed all cash flows invested in it. Please note that the account balances will be automatically updated after closing each withdrawal or deposit. If it is necessary to return to work or cancel a closed operation, this can be done by the administrator or manager of the point on whose behalf the operation is performed. Now let's spend some corporate expenses, for example, rent payment. When creating an operation, we will select the corporate CF and the corresponding expense item. Next, we indicate the direction of cash flow. For rent payments, this is a withdrawal, as well as the currency, amount of funds, and the withdrawal account. Additional information fields will be useful for you and your supervisor to check operations. After some time, it will be easier to recall the context and circumstances of this payment. Next, confirm the creation of the operation. The page of the created operation displays all its details, including a list of withdrawals and deposits for specific accounts. In this case, there is a single charge in this list, but you can add as many withdrawals or deposits to the operation as you need. It is important to note that the operation can be closed only if it is closed confirmed all cash flows invested in it. Account balances will be automatically updated after closing each withdrawal or deposit. After closing the operation, the system calculated its actual profit, just as in the exchange scenario with the client. In the case of corporate expenses, it is expected to be negative. If it is necessary to return to work or cancel a closed operation, this can be done by the administrator or manager of the point on whose behalf the operation is performed. In this scenario of corporate cash flow, we have already encountered the concept of an expense item. There are several expense items pre-installed in the system at the time of the company's creation, but you can add them to the list. When creating a new item of corporate expenses, you can restrict the rights of your employees to conduct operations of this type. For example, to allow only administrators to carry out transactions under the item expenses for holidays, or to prohibit them only to line cashiers. You can also change accesses for preset expense items. Please note that after restricting access to the expense item, it does not appear in the list of operations available for creation in the cashier's account, and this article is available to the administrator. Now let's look at the daily reports by our exchange points. A report will be automatically generated for each exchange point every day at the time you set for these points. The time of saving the report, as well as the base currency of the point set when creating it, can be changed at any time. This can be done by an office manager or an administrator. Let's take a closer look at the structure of the report. The first block is a cross-section on withdrawals and deposits. Here we can see the total amount of deposits and withdrawals for the reporting period at the selected exchange point, as well as split by type of transactions and expense items. The total volume is expressed in the base currency of the exchange point at the exchange rate current at the time of generating the report. The second block is a cross-section by currency. Here we can see the total amount of balances of each currency used at the selected exchange point. If the exchange point has several accounts in the same currency, their balances are summed up to display cross-section by currency. Please note that all currencies are summed up to visually represent the total stock of funds at the exchange point at the end of the reporting period. The third block is a section on accounts. Here we can see the balances on each of the accounts of the selected exchange point at the beginning and at the end of the reporting period, for the last day. The balances are presented both in the account currency and in the base currency of the exchange point, at the exchange rate current at the time of saving the report. The last section is a cross-section by employees. Here, you can evaluate the performance of your employees, with the number of transactions opened and completed during the reporting period, by the volume of deposits withdrawals to the company's accounts. It is important that when calculating the volume of withdrawal and deposits, corporate expenses and deposits are not taken into account only transactions with customers, because the profitability of an employee is estimated. In the Analytics section, you can create a cross-section based on the four main indicators of the company: the volume of funds movement, that is deposits and withdrawals, actual profit from transactions, the amount of account balances. By default, a cross-section for the last day is displayed for the administrator. If desired, you can disable this filter. The administrator has access to aggregate information on all exchange points, accounts, and transactions of the company. The manager in the Analytics section can receive information only on his exchange points, and the cashier only personally on his own. Please note that the summary data is displayed in the base currency of the company at the current exchange rate at the time of viewing. When selecting filters, the main indicators are recalculated dynamically. Pay attention to the exclusion requests. You can view the balances only at the current time. Therefore, if you select a period, for example, for the last week, then this indicator will be hidden. Also, viewing the balances is only available if no filters are selected: employee, transaction type, client, corporate CF expense items, because there cannot be employee balances or customer balances. You can view the profits only if no filters are selected: account, currency, because there can be no profit account and the profit does not happen in any one currency.